Hi, my name is Laura, and in this video I will try to explain to you the climate situation of the United Kingdom and the policy that this country has adopted. Geographical and political divisions. The United Kingdom is a sovereign island country located in the northwest of continental Europe. Its territory is geographically formed by the island of Great Britain, the northeast of the island of Ireland, and small adjacent islands, thus forming an archipelago called the British Isles. With respect to their political division, the above-mentioned islands are composed of two sovereign member countries of the UN. On the one hand, there is the Republic of Ireland, which occupies more than 80% of the territory of the islands of Ireland. On the other hand, we find the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. In other words, the United Kingdom has a sui generis status, which implies that it is made up of four nations, each with a different culture. These are England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. This means that the United Kingdom is a country made up of the four nations with different cultures, but at the same time they are part of the same government. It is a unitary state governed by a parliamentary system with the seat of government and capital in London, but with three decentralized national administrations in Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. It is a parliamentary monarchy with Elizabeth II as head of state. Its main religion is Anglican. In 18th century, it became the site of the Industrial Revolution. Its nations have a monetary unit, the British pound, and military. In practice, they act as one nation before the European Union, OTAN, and the United Nations. They use the same passport, but they are not the same nation. Policies that have been implemented. Climate change in the UK has been a subject of much controversy and protest, which has led to the implementations of various policies to mitigate these effects. The UK government is committed to reduce the emissions of CO2 gases, as it is one of the stronger problems. They have begun the 18th country with the highest emissions worldwide. In the year 2000, the Climate Change Program is created, which was launched in November in 2006. The Sustainable Energy and Climate Change Act is an act of the UK Parliamentary which aims to increase the number of thermal and microelectricity generation facilities in the UK, which helps reduce carbon emissions and energy poverty. The United Kingdom was one of the first countries to sign the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention in Climate Change, and has always taken actions to reduce its GHG emissions, perhaps because Britain is considered extremely vulnerable to climate change due to its island status and recent sea levels. The UK's main motivations for establishing a climate change law are to avoid irreversible environmental damage, to move towards a low carbon economy, and to avoid higher long-term cost. To reduce GHG emissions and to comply with the commitments made, the United Kingdom has signed international commitments with the responsibility to reduce emissions as a global obligation, and one of the objectives with the climate change law is to comply with them, to develop in a sustainable way. The climate change act offers the possibility to rethink the country's development systems to develop in a sustainable way and find low carbon mechanisms, avoiding higher costs. The United Kingdom is aware that just dealing with the impacts of climate change in the future will cost more than doing so now, and trying to mitigate it so they understand the climate change act as an investment in the future. Although with some shortcomings, as we have seen, the UK's climate change act is a good example for other states to get started on climate change legislation. National legislation on this subject is necessary, basically with the aim of being able to meet the objectives of international agreements and to lead society towards low carbon economies that can take up the challenge of climate change. In the UK's experience, to act has been translated into regulations, plans, institutions, and real funds that fulfill their role in addressing climate change. Thank you.